Hey guys, it's time to do our first oil change on the 2026 Ram 1500. I'll show you how many miles we got here in a second, but why is this important? Number one, I wish I would have did this at 1,000 miles, not 3,500 miles. We're gonna get underneath the undercarriage here and kind of look and see if we notice any other changes versus the 2025 and just see how things are holding up. It's already seen a little bit of salt. We've already seen some towing. We've seen a lot of mud and we've seen a little bit of off-road. We'll see if we notice any other changes, hopefully not. And we're gonna just show you how this process works. Plus, we're gonna send out the oil to Blackstone. We're gonna have a follow-up and we're gonna compare results from our 2025 versus the 2026 RHO Blackstone oil report. Plus, we're gonna do something with Car Guy Online and compare his results at a 500-mile oil change with his standard output Hurricane. And let's see if we notice any differences. Truck's a little bit dirty right now. Just show you guys where we're at. See where we're at right now with miles. And I'm gonna show you something else here, guys. Oil's at 65% oil life still left. And look at where the height is at. So we'll compare that to after. Here's the oil change kit, guys, from the dealership. If you wanna see the part numbers here, I'll put all this information down below. We're gonna be sending this oil out to Blackstone. And here's the kit. This is the special SRT blend. And if you're wondering what the difference is, I'm gonna show you. There is a MS spec. This MS A0921 is the specific one for the SRT engines and the high output Hurricanes. So we'll get this thing going and get it up on the lift here in a second. We're running through some cornfields about 50 mile an hour after trying to recover a deer. Not chasing deer, but what I'm looking for too, I'm curious, it's pretty muddy underneath here. Curious to see if, I know some people have mentioned some rear main seal leaks. Have you guys seen those by chance on any of the Hurricanes? No, I'm not seeing anything either, which looks dry. That's what I was really worried about. I know some people are wondering too, with an oil change, if this is messy with this skid plate. I could see it's probably gonna, they think it's probably gonna drip through here, but I could see, that one might clear, the drain on the motor. Yeah. Okay, kind of show you guys what it all looks like underneath this thing. So you kind of got your front skid plate, full droop here at the Bilstein shocks. Tie rods, CV joints all look good, front diff looks good. Not seeing any weeps out of any of these sides. Wintertime's tough on these things in Michigan. I still got these little covers up on the transmission. You can kind of see all the exhaust crossover. Man, the oil pan is super dirty. You can kind of see the skid plates though. It's got great protection here. And if you look at how this thing transfers from front to rear, slides underneath the transfer case, fuel tank, everything looks good here. It's just really dirty. If you haven't seen these before, these are the patches. It's actually, believe it or not, this changes the sound of the exhaust. Pretty neat. I don't see any leaks on rear differential. All the undercoating looks pretty decent. There's your other patch on the exhaust. And then this is where your Bilstein shock reservoir for the rear is kind of hidden up in there. And then you got another Bilstein shock for wheel hop off the rear axle. Now we don't have any sort of airbags on this truck yet, but in the future, we'll probably put something up in here. I don't see how you could get any sort of bigger spare. I mean, you got a little bit of room around here, but not a lot. Like right here, you're almost right up against it. All right, we got the Blackstone captured there. And this is actually draining pretty decent right there.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It cleared it.
Yeah, it did clear it. That's good. If you haven't seen how the suspension on the RHO or TRX works, got an upper and lower control arm here. This rod right here is for the ride height sensors for the shocks. This data here specifically goes into a computer that then tells the solenoids in the shocks how to fire as far as and where the position of the stroke of the suspension's at. You have these on each corner of the vehicle, but this very much mimics the same sort of technology as the Gen 3 Raptor. You got a coil suspension, not leaf sprung. And then you got your fifth link here that connects, basically a drag link that connects the side of the axle, so this controls side to side. And you got your upper and lower control arms, and everything's designed. Everything gives you full droop here, and we're at full droop at the moment, so you can kind of see how everything still has plenty of movement here. And yeah, and then this here will be a space that in the future, if you're mudding, you'd want to be careful, because this is your vent tube, so that'd be kind of how high that is. We let her drain, screwed it back in. A little bit of a mess, not too bad though. Man, this thing is filthy underneath here. The other thing I noticed while I was looking up is this looks like some sort of CV shaft coming off. Yeah, it looks off. So you got a U-joint actually up front, and then like a CV on that back corner, and then obviously standard U-joint here up front. My biggest thing is I'm looking to see if I'm seeing any weeps or anything leaking, and I'm not. Everything looks good underneath this thing. So bolts here too, no leaks there. Yep. Might put a skid plate on these bottom shocks here. I know that's an option. I'm gonna talk to the Swarfworks guys. Here's your other ride height sensor here. Kind of see this is where your boxes hang down below for storage in the second row. Just a word of advice from the master technicians here we're with. Yeah. The first oil change, this stock filter is a bear to get off.
Yeah, it is.
That's why you gotta let the pros do it, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
So we got this bad boy filled up, so we can send this out to Blackstone. And they're filling up the oil filter right now. Very nice. Yeah, how's this oil change compared to doing a TRX? Do you remember? Or?
I remember with TRX, to be honest.
Okay.
The 6.4, I can't remember.
6.4, yeah.
Yeah. Or no, it's a 6.2.
That's a 6.2, yeah. Or the 392.
Yeah.
This is a lot easier than doing the Hemi though, isn't it? The Hemi's kind of a pain to get in.
Yeah, the new Hemis have the sway bar length
right in the way. Just creates a huge mess. Yeah. One thing I just found on the bottom side of my door and the driver's side, see this mark right there? It actually looks like mist paint from the factory. That's kind of funny. You can see where it's at. Driver's side. I would have never noticed until I got it up on the lift. But this is why, guys, I like the rock blocks and the OEM running boards, because you capture all this protection on the side of the truck from debris kicking off the front. So now I want to do something, maybe a little PPF up there. It does create a little mess here, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you could tell that's what
it's made. That hole is made there for it to go through. Yep. Yep. It's going right through the middle right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely for that first oil change, you guys should do it. I noticed that too. So I wonder if I need to have both you guys, or so someone take a look at that, you think? Or what's your thoughts?
We can grab someone, yeah.
Yeah, because I noticed the first thought is I'm like, it does look like it's weeping a little bit right there.
It's not bad at all.
It could just be like assembly grease when they put it together or something, but definitely want to keep our eyes on that one. It's just going slow. All right, cool. So we got the oil filter primed up and ready to go on. Not too bad. So what do you think about the Hurricane engine?
I think they're sick.
You like it?
Oh yeah, yeah, they're awesome. They're a lot cooler than some of those EV motors they started putting in the Chargers and Challengers.
Yep. Well, now they got this motor going in the Charger Challenger. I always confuse what the name of the new one's called, but
I think it's
the six-pack.
Yeah. I got one of those out back.
Do you?
Yeah,
have you driven it yet?
Yeah. Yeah.
You like it?
Oh, hell yeah.
And how's the trans and the power? Like power's probably good, obviously, but trans feels good.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It shifts like butter perfectly.
Because they got a different transmission in them for 20. It's not the old. So this has got the 8 HP transmission. It's now got a Chrysler transmission in it. So that's one thing I keep wondering, because they're going to put that in the new Grand Wagoneer, and I think that trans is going to make it to the Ram as well. Yeah, I believe it. Appreciate you guys cleaning that up. Nice work. It's kind of funny, this transmission cradle still says TRX.
Does it?
Yeah, see right here.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
What do you guys think about the new TRX coming back?
I don't know much about it, but I do know something with the CEO, I think, and that's
Yeah, they brought the Hemis back. Yep.
I definitely think it'll be cool. We do have a Scat Pack 23 in.
Oh, cool.
Charger?
Nice.
Yeah.
See, I wish they put that 392 in a Ram 1500.
Yeah.
That's like, you know, it's like obviously a TRX supercharged is cool, but if you could have just the sound and the lower cost, you know, like the 392, because 392 still runs pretty well.
Oh yeah, they got a good amount of power. Yeah, we had a 392 Wrangler in the other day.
Was it the 26 or 25?
I think it was a 25.
Okay.
Yeah, those things are sweet.
They really are cool.
Should do it. Could be pretty good.
Well, appreciate you guys doing that. These are the guys over at Pinckney Ram. These guys that take care of you guys. I always like working with you guys. Appreciate all your help.
Oh yeah.
So I've heard, I don't know how true it is, I've heard that the new TRX, I think they're gonna have this on both sides of the engine or something like that. Either an intake on one side, but it's different than the old one.
That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah. And so you put in what, 7.5 quarts of oil? 7.5, okay. And I'll show you guys how we do how they do the process here.
Reset the oil light.
That's the oil light, okay.
Yeah.
Now, it looks like the height is at the right height then, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh, okay. I was expecting it to be a little bit lower. So that's good.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And now you don't even, and is it instantly, or do you know how quickly
It's right after you finish putting the oil in. If you come in and start it, it'll give you an instant reading.
Very cool.
Pretty much.
And then, let's see if we go, you have to okay, and then the reset. So what's the trick? So you can either reset it on the steering wheel or pump the brakes at the startup?
Yeah, so what I do is I put it in the run position.
Run position, okay.
You just throw it in the run position without starting it,
Yep.
and you hit the gas 10 times.
Hit the gas 10 times.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's a lot easier than having
Yeah.
to put it in the run position and then scroll through.
I'm just going to share this with people so they can kind of know how to do these at their own house. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate you guys doing that.
It's the easier way to do it.
Yeah, for sure. There we are, oil height. And we got a reset. And this, guys, is why I do oil changes, because I want this stuff documented. If there's ever an issue, no one can blame it on something I've done wrong. All right, takeaways. It cost me about $125 for an oil change at the local dealership, Pinckney Ram in Pinckney, Michigan. If you guys are interested, these guys are the only ones so far that have touched either my 25 or my 26 RHO. These guys are car enthusiasts. I love it. They love trucks. You guys got to check out and kind of compare the undercarriage versus the 25. We did confirm what we saw as wetness around the tie rods on the RHO was actually like an assembly lube of when they install it. There's nothing leaking, but we'll keep an eye on it just to make sure. I kind of want to power wash that area now or clean that up just to make sure. But it's interesting both spots doing that. The oil we went through, we filled the oil filter when we filled it up, and we went through, I think, about 7.5 quarts of oil. We let it drain for a while. From the oil filter, there was a little bit of oil residual that got onto the skid plate, but it wasn't bad. We were able to clean it up. It's obviously much easier if you've got a lift, for sure. The first oil filter pulling off on my 25 and my 26 was a bit of a bear. So be prepared that they snug those things up super tight when they build these trucks. Yeah, otherwise, nothing to report back. We'll do a follow-up video here in a few weeks with the Car Guy Online, and we'll compare the data from Blackstone when we do this oil analysis on this engine versus the 25 versus other engines we've done in the past versus Car Guy Online's standard output, and we'll just kind of see what does this look like. Now, some takeaways I wanted to share with you guys. These guys told me on a full synthetic oil change, they recommend telling people 6,000 miles. Not the full 10,000. I love that that's what they're recommending people not to go. Even though the manufacturer says you can go 10,000 miles, there's enough evidence out recently that suggests don't push it that far. Oil change is not that expensive if you plan on keeping these things long term. I think it's worth just doing this. I wish I would have did this in the first 1,000 miles. It is what it is. We will do, I think we're gonna do the rear differential and maybe transfer case fluid, maybe at like the 10,000, 15,000 mile mark. I gotta think about that more. But anyhow, guys, I hope you find this helpful, and I hope this helps you with doing an oil change on your RHO or standard Hurricane engine. These things are a breeze, much easier than doing Hemi engines, splashing oil all over the sway bar in the past that we've done. I wanted to share with you guys, check out how many Hemis these guys have. So if you're interested, they've got several here. The Forge Blue looks awesome. They got a white one here. They got, let's see, I think they got another one here in billet silver. Yep. They got a bunch of Hemis, and they got a ton of Ram 1500s. Both, if you want e-torque Hemis, there's a Canyon Lake. Here's a Rebel that looks pretty sweet. The white looks good. Yeah, so if you guys are interested, Pinckney Dodge Jeep Ram here in Pinckney, Michigan. Hope you enjoy the video. If you do, guys, feel free to hit that like button. And guys, we're gonna put a link below. We do have the CTech-review merchandise rolling out here shortly. Thanks for watching.